Hello ladies, gentlemen and others. Welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Today I'm going to be reacting to the 2024 Quadeca Scrapyard Mixtape. I've been a big fan of Quadeca's previous work, especially I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. That album is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, and I think that all the stuff that's come out of Scrapyard that I've heard up until now has been very interesting. I've heard all the things up until Scrapyard 5, but I feel like since it's all been condensed into a project, that warrants a full listen through in a reaction sense. And I also am a musician, so if you want to hear my music, here's a little snippet of it. Did you like it? If you did, you can feel free to stream it. I'm not too fussed about it. Anyway, I think it's time that we get into Scrapyard, I guess 5, but it's also Scrapyard, the entire project. If you see a track that I've already liked or added to a playlist, that is because I've already heard it. And I'm going to be, I guess, talking about the things that I like and don't like about that, as well as giving, I guess, some critique and criticism on some of the new parts of this album. Anyway, let's get into it. First song, which is also my favorite I've heard so far, Dustcutter. There's such an immaculate vibe to the sort of like almost, it's like lo-fi, but it's more deep than just like lo-fi. This is a vocal tone like I haven't really heard before in any other project I've listened to, and it's enthralling, and it's also just so like passionate. There's something about the production that just feels so homegrown in like a perfect way, and that like, I guess, staccato guitar is just such a great addition. There's sort of a desperation in the vocals too. See that desperation there? It's like, ah! Love the harmonies in the background. And that's sort of like, I think it's a resonator. You can hear those little arpeggios and the up and down synthesizer glissandoing. That transition always gets me. I think the 808s fit really, really well because they're like a little bit distorted, but they're also just like so textured. It all like comes together to create like a sort of perfect mix of all the elements. There's so much passion in that vocal delivery there. And that like synth that it's kind of a callback to earlier in the track when it was there. I've already kind of said all I needed to say except for with the lyrics. You can tell that the lyrics it's sort of referencing I Didn't Mean to Haunt You in a way. And it's just like, in my mind, this song is just about loneliness. And just like how everyone around him knew he was depressed, but he didn't know himself. And he was just ruining everything for himself and I guess other people around him in his eyes. You can conjure up that imagery in your mind of basically being a ruiner. Anyway, next song is a la carte with a feature which is Brakence, and I really like how this song sort of reminds me of kind of O-Burst in a way. It's just like there are some really corny lyrics in it though, but I'll get to it.
My favorite poem was the one I read to you.
There's something so uncanny about the production in this song. It's interesting, all of these like sort of nostalgic chords and arpeggios coming in the background with like kalimbas and I guess strings and vocal pads. I've never liked that lyric. Or that one. But that's like kind of where the issues with the lyrics stop for this song, because I think the rest are immaculate and perfectly fit the emotion portrayed. I love how you can hear his voice kind of breaking there. And all of those vocal harmonies in the background. That like thing that's either substituting somewhere between a snare and a cymbal is just such like a infectious sound. I think this is also like the perfect spot for Brakence. Like the structuring of the song is very well done. And all of the little like ear candy effects that come in this area perfectly fit like the more mellow tone of Brakence's voice. I feel like I don't really need to analyze the lyrics of this song because it's kind of obvious that it's just like a bittersweet, sort of sour reminiscence on a relationship that didn't end well. That you're nervous to talk to, at least in my opinion. There's a really good contrast between Quadeca's voice and Brakence's voice as well. Because it's such like a, they fill the aspect of what they're trying to do perfectly, each other. They complement perfectly. That's a really good vocal line, just like in a melody writing sense. I love that bass arpeggio there. Yes, it's a really good song. But there are just a few issues I have with it. Anyway, let's get into the next song, which is the first song I haven't heard of this project. The song Pretty Privilege. And let's have a listen. Ooh. I'm already liking the sound of this. With like the reverse drums. And that slow, like, sort of, I guess it's sort of like almost a Midwest emo arpeggio. Once again with all of those beautiful vocal runs. Almost feeling sort of like an orchestral roll. Oh, that reverse in the left. Ooh, this is almost like a bit gospel. Ooh. That was such like a perfectly executed beat switch. The production is stellar as always from Quadeca. Oh wow. This is incredible. This is my favorite song so far in the Scrapyard series. Apart from Dustcutter. That arpeggio is so good and how like the distortion is sort of bubbling. I can pretty obviously tell this song is about self-doubt and being in a relationship and not being able to understand why the other person likes you. That's a pretty deep and emotional feeling. All I could ask you is why. That hits really hard. Oh, this piano is beautiful. I feel like I remember like hearing something similar to that. Oh, that reminds me of like, there was a line in a song off A Moon-Shaped Pool by Radiohead that's got the same sort of textural feeling to the piano. Or you can feel things are kind of disintegrating a little bit here, but it's also still staying cohesive. There's a lot of A Moon-Shaped Pool vibes on this song though, as well, which I think is awesome, not just the piano. Oh yeah, and then we go into the awesome blown out outro. Oh, it's so good. Oh, I can hear those filter sweeps as well. It's interesting how like everything is so wide and then his voice is kind of mixed down the center and it makes him feel very small. And I think that's the intention and that does a really good job. Wow. That song was awesome. I always have a critique with a lot of other things where I don't really like it when a song just fades out, and I think that was a really, really good representation of how to do a fade out of a song properly, rather than like just turning the volume down, instead just having something interesting and textural to end on. And that song was stellar. And one thing I'm going to say as well is that I wasn't too confident in just like the small snippets because I didn't know how they would fit together. But so far, the pacing of this project is perfect. I think everything's in its right spot, especially because like things are like cutting across different projects and they're all in different batches. The way it's arranged, I think, is done really well. And I kind of said all I needed to say about the lyrics there, so let's go into the next song, which is a really sort of pretty bossa nova jam, which is the song Easier. That is a Black Country New Road opening. I do really like you can definitely tell there's a Black Country New Road influence as well as a bossa nova influence in this song. There's something so downtrodden about it too. That delay in the right ear. And you can see the sort of bubbling. It's so nice. It reminds me of just like sitting on a bench and then there's like a greenhouse that's being rained on in front of you. Those vocal runs are always so beautiful. There's so much good atmospherics and little twinkly, plucky things everywhere. And the lyrics here are so complex and layered. It's just like being curious about whether or not you actually like the person in a romantic sense, or just because you want to have that affection. I never noticed that. It's like the vocal percussion there. It's a really interesting lo-fi aesthetic because it's obviously like high fidelity, but it's done in a way that feels like it's very grounded. I know lo-fi, hi-fi are kind of antonyms, but the way that it's produced just feels like it perfectly occupies the vibe it is going for without being too overly tropey. It's not cliche. Once again, excellent melody writing and those string passages. Actually, I can't tell if it's a string or a synthesizer. I think it might be a synth. You can hear how the space that it is in, like the song occupies changes, where it goes more wide to left and right in this sort of outro. I thought the auto-tune there was a bit overdone though. But you can kind of hear it like fluctuating between notes. I don't know if that was intentional, but I don't think it takes away too much from the song because it's just such a beautiful jam. Absolutely amazing. Yep, I feel like I've said everything I need to say. I'm getting better at that rather than having to pause and analyze afterwards. But yeah, I've loved this project so far. Now we're on to another song that I've heard, which is Even If I Tried. Let's have a listen. It's sort of a mixture between that sort of darker hip-hop vibe, but also with some of that more like Folktronic elements from I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. There's something about that 808 sound that's just so empty and just feels so lost. Love how everything sort of builds around this like 1, 2, 3 sort of motif of rhythm. One thing I also think is awesome is how Quadeca is experimenting with different vocal timbres post I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. The production is so good, all like the white noise kind of feels like taps being turned on and off, and then there's all those like increasing in pitch. I don't know if there's synths or guitars, but in the left ear, and then everything sort of culminating in this like beautiful stereo spectrum feeling sound. All this like glitchy percussion. It feels like everything's like perfectly nipped into place. Everything works so much better now in the context of the project, though I always thought this break was a bit too ham-fisted, but I really like the production decisions here. It's like sort of the tension and release sort of feeling. That stop-start. And you can hear the echoing percussion that's down like the center, but also feels like it's a little bit up higher because of how the reverb's processed. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so nice. All these like playful guitar melodies around, it's just like sort of feels In Rainbows like. And ooh, I always forget about that like sort of reverse sound there. I swear everything culminates so beautifully at the end of Quadeca songs, and it just like puts a bow on it. Oh, it's so nice. This song, I've always had a hard time placing the lyrics. I feel like if you look at it from the surface level, it seems just kind of braggadocious. But in my mind, going down with like the self-doubt theme of this project, I see it sort of like everyone sees you as like this sort of powerhouse of music. But internally, it's, am I really convinced myself that I am good at what I do? Or am I just faking it? And at least that's my interpretation. I've gotten a lot of things wrong before. Please feel free to correct me in the comments. All right, next song, one I haven't heard. What's It to Him? And then you just let it, see if it transitions in. Oh. This feels like a Beatles song. But obviously a lot more interesting. No shade to Beatles fans, not my thing though, because of how immaculate the production is. Oh, there's some sort of From Me to You style glitches here. Ooh. I love these like glitchy left field like percussion sort of things with like the repeating, I think it feels kind of white noisy, and then the snare in the right ear. Wow. Ooh, you can hear that like sort of, I can't tell if it was a synth or like a granular delay, but it was a really good way to crescendo. Also, Quadeca knows how to like perfectly play with adding distortion to things. This song is so bittersweet. It feels like it's sort of putting on a front. Oh. If I was happy, you'd know why. I'd risk it all just to make sure. It's very open-ended, but also crushing. I really like that little, feels like either a metronome or a plink on like a bowl. It's so lush. Oh, the distortion in the top left. I was expecting a huge crescendo. There we go. Make you wait for it. Oh, it's so good. This feels like you're exercising emotions. Oh, that like delay going back and forth, like being modulated. The time. Oh my god. I wasn't too sure about the start of that, but wow, I really got convinced by the end. I think that is just like a perfect linear build throughout the song. And there are so many lyrics that are just well constructed. For example, it's the light in the sky, it's the multicolored ceiling, it's the white little lie with the multicolored meaning. It's just like such a vibrant way of describing distrust and being, I guess, downtrodden. I say downtrodden a lot with this, but you can feel it. It feels like definitely like the fallout around I didn't mean to haunt you, and just like, wow, I like to hide a little less, I'd like to cry a little more. I don't understand. I'd like to hide a little less, I'd like to cry a little more. I guess it's just like not wanting to have to be so insular and internalizing all of your feelings and just being able to talk about your feelings to someone. And it just feels like a self-exploration of sadness, and it's a absolutely beautiful song. Anyway, I gotta do something right now, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back now, and I've re-listened to all the songs, and I stand by what I said about them. I'm now ready again to get back into the music, because I want to make sure I still keep it as like a cohesive thought in my brain. And so, we're going to the next song, which is also one that I have heard, called You Don't Know Me Like That. Some really cool vocal processing here. Reminds you of some like early hyperpop. It's like a weird sort of mix between like hyperpop and a ballad. There's some really interesting sound design with these synths as well. Kind of like a whap kind of attack to it. Something the way that he composes rhythms is just so infectious. And these like weird delays in the like right ear and then reversing different hits of it is just so textural. And that piano, it's so cold, it reminds you of like the piano from Neighborhood 1 Tunnels by Arcade Fire. Screw Win Butler. It's a really cool like experimentation with like reverse kind of piano hits, because you can hear it like leading into the next note. I never knew how I felt about that kind of like stepped auto-tune, but I feel like it kind of works in this area. And then back into this section. You know those glitchy effects going from right to left in the stereo spectrum. It's like fluttery. You can hear the distorted previous line interweaving with this last post-chorus. You can hear that delay there. This outro is so good. There's such a finality about it. It transitions into I Make It Look Effortless. There's not really much to get into the lyrics of that song, because it just seems to be about like a failing relationship, which is a lot of the songs in Scrapyard are about that. I assume they're all about the same relationship, but it's interesting to me how strange the genre mixes Quadeca's doing throughout this entire project. Like, for example, this song being somewhere between hyperpop and a singer-songwriter sort of song, or like a ballad. Anyway, I've also already heard I Make It Look Effortless, but it's a nice quick song, and I'm just interested to see how it actually fits into the project. I've always liked that guitar. It's all like detuned in a sort of satisfying way.
I'm
The song's very low-key too. Harmonies in the right. Actually, I think that might be a single voice, just reverbed out. These notes are really cool here. The production on that snare, it slaps. Like, not necessarily like the music slaps, because it does, but it's just like a thwack. And you get that screaming synth. I wish it developed a little bit more in its idea, but I think it's a good sort of like interlude kind of thing. And the lyrics aren't very, I feel like the lyrics are kind of, you can take at their face value for this song. Okay, now into a song I haven't heard, which is Way Too Many Friends. And I'm interested to see what kind of genre fusion this one's going to be, because that's kind of like the theme of this project so far from what I've heard, is that mixing different genres together to see what you can create. Ooh. This beat is so cool. It's like almost like Tin Pan, sort of like hitting with a wooden spoon kind of feel to it.
I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends. I can't tell you what it's really about, 8 times out of 10. I got way too many friends, I got way too many friends.
Ooh, these chords. I like how the kind of like delays layer with the vocals. I love that prepared piano sound as well. This fits perfectly in this part of the project too. The production fills the stereo spectrum so well. It's like glitchy synth in the left ear, raising into the prepared piano. Oh, we're just left with the tails of all of the delays and reverb. That's cool. You can hear the vocal peeking back through. Into like a smear sort of granular effect there. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that a lot. I think altogether, I was a little bit concerned because I felt like when all the songs were released separately, it was kind of disjointed, but I think they all work together well under the one umbrella. And I think that was a really interesting feat to be able to do. And the song, this one, I mean, it touches on such a interesting thing that I haven't really thought about, which is just like the possibility of having like lots of people, as he says, way too many friends, whatever. I'm kind of surface level here, but you can't, it talks about like the minutiae of not being able to talk to them about deeper things because they're kind of surface level. For example, I can't tell you what it's really about 9 times out of 10. It's like they don't fully understand them or get sort of larger picture of what you're referring to. Once again, I kind of am doing a surface level analysis here, but I'm trying. All right, next song. This is the one I wasn't too keen on, but I'm gonna comment on the things I like about it. It reminded me too much of one of the older Flex sort of songs, but let's have a listen. I do think the production of this song is pretty cool though. Especially how the reverb kind of comes in and out. You can hear that sort of like distorted synth line there. That kind of like mangled orchestral thing. I didn't like that voice in the background, but hey, it's a pretty minor criticism. I feel like this is just like a more refined take on the kind of beaming style. I feel like this would go crazy in a concert though. I think I actually remember hearing part of this when I was watching back a QQQ tour video. I love these kind of like atmospheric lines in the top of the stereo spectrum. And then everything gets really distorted. It seems really cool. It reminds me of like something black dresses do often. It's such a cool effect though with like the alarm. It's like the beating patterns of the notes very quickly. It's almost, I think it might be ring modulated. That is a cool rhythm there though. That's like sort of stumbling in triplets. The distortion really hits hard here though. I feel like that doesn't really fit in that area of the project, but then again, I don't really know where I would put it. I feel like it might generally work better as a single as part of a project. Anyway, but I do like lots of parts of it, but I feel like a lot of the lyrics can be taken in a sort of... I'm not a huge fan of the sort of braggadocious style, but I think there was a lot of redeeming qualities about it, which is why I gave it a heart. Anyway, next song, Under My Skin. This is quite a beautiful track. I love the sort of jangly sort of feeling to a lot of the like instrumentation there. I feel like this would have been at home on I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. It's got a lot of those same elements of like the tape and the lo-fi experience and those harmonic vocals. Once again, the beat incredible. There's also some for me to use kind of stylings here with like all the pauses. There's such an emptiness about that chord. With the sort of warm piano and twangy guitar. I love you can hear like the pickup of the guitar just like distorting, like it's been running too hard through a preamp. See what I mean there? You can see the other guitar line as well on the left.
Said I won't kill again, maybe I will repent. We'll be there in spirit. There's a song that belongs to you if you care to hear it. If you find me under your skin again, maybe we could be friends. Maybe that'll make too much sense.
This is such like an end of relationship sort of song. It's like we still want to care about the person.
Come to me right after I built a fence.
And you're trying to simultaneously see if you're gonna push them away or trying harder and harder to rekindle it. At least that's my interpretation. That reverse percussion there, it's such a great song, and as I said, it's sort of got those end of relationship vibes where you're either gonna try and push yourself harder or distance yourself, either way at the same time. And it's quite, I guess, sad and beautiful. It's like, I want to still care about you, but I can't bring myself to care about you romantically, at least in my opinion. All right, now we're going on to the last 4 tracks of the album, which I actually haven't heard now. So now, on to the next song, Being Yourself. Delayed drum machine. You can hear that low, droning bass there. Ooh. It's quite experimental. You can hear those like sidechain guitar chords. It's interesting bringing out the sort of tonal aspects of the drum machine samples. Those vocals again, coming on the sides. You can hear that thing that started as a bass drone sort of building more and more layers. Ooh, it's interesting use of sidechaining on this song. Wow. Yeah, that thump of the 808 there. It's interesting, like, slapback delay that's on his voice here as well. It's quite a long slapback. I wish you could be yourself. Ooh. This is a lot of for me to use stylings here as well. But it's a lot more, I feel like it's a lot more emotional than parts of for me to use. I love the atmospherics. Yeah, that pause sort of feeling there. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a B-side from, from For Me to You. I feel like it should have been on For Me to You though. Wow, this is incredible. So much passion in his vocals. Wish you could be yourself. All that crunchy sort of side there. You know, it's like the clickiness. oh, and then we got like the tail of like a delay. String passages. Some sort of like Nine Inch Nails style sound design here. Is that like a distorted metro? Oh! It's a distorted metro. Kind of Have a Nice Life vibes. I think you can hear like a distorted guitar in the background. Down in the center image. This is such a good outro kind of feeling. These lyrics are complex too. I wish you could be yourself. For me, it's not I wish I could be myself, it's I wish you could be yourself. So you're seeing that the person is holding something back from fear, I guess. And it's like, I don't want to leave you, but I cannot stay. So there's a sourness in the relationship where it's like, you want to make it better for the other person, and that would be without you. Oh my gosh, it's like, there's layers here. It's like, would it be better without me for them would it be better without me for them because I'm not treating them as well as I could be, or because I've fallen out? I don't want to leave you the hard way. So it's like, you don't want to upset them. Wow, there's a lot of layers here. Wow, okay. Next song, You Tried That Thing Where You're Human. Some shoo-shoo-esque sound here.
To give up on being human.
This feels like he's trying to do a Phil Elverum thing, and I like it.
It's time to give up on being human. To give up.
This is such a shoo-shoo thing, especially with those like small synths and like desolate atmosphere, and then the cracking vocal delivery. I said somewhere between Phil Elverum and shoo-shoo.
It's time.
Like a microphone. It's all that sour chord. There's something so bleak about this.
It's time.
Wow.
To give up on being human.
Oh Jesus.
It's time.
Oh God, that like weak laugh.
An exception for someone.
So it's like,
And look where it got you.
it's such a Jamie Stewart delivery. I love it. This might be my favorite song so far.
You did that thing where you're human. So good job. For once, you were.
Oh my God. This is obviously like cheating. You like made an exception for someone. You made the so it's like, I'm only human, but then so good job once for you. Like she was never. Oh my gosh. So it's like, you made an exception for someone. I'm only human, and then, well, good job. That's the first time you're being human with me. So it's like distance and like coldness fell between them. Oh, it's percussion here.
I'm gonna be something else.
Oh my gosh. It's like, I don't even want to.
I'm gonna be something else.
I don't even want to be, I guess,
I'm
conscious or sentient.
from here.
Oh, that
Be something.
note.
Try my best, I did a good job. I'm good.
Oh, this is so good. This sort of like interweaving vocal lines. It's like call and response.
I'm gonna be something else. I'm gonna be something. I'm gonna be something.
Oh, the percussion comes in. Oh wow, this is definitely my favorite from the project. Oh, it's so good. Sort of chanting there. So I'm not saying much. I'm so immersed in the atmosphere. And that bass and the guitar. This is so shoo-shoo. I keep saying it, but it's true and it's awesome. Fuck, this is the depressing song too. It's like got into lyrics before. All these sour notes here, and it's like, you can hear the sort of like stuttering as if it's like kind of like tape, or you can hear like the wavering, the wow and flutter. The delay on the guitar, like a tape machine. Damn, this is good. It's so nice. Oh, these arrangements. That's incredible. Oh, and then like the sort of despondent outro. I'm gonna hesitantly give that a 10 out of 10, but wow, that was my favorite song in the project. Wow, that was so good. And like the complex sort of like lyricism I mentioned in verse 1 there especially, and like how lonely and betrayed this felt. It really got to me in like a emotional way. Wow, that's a good song. Okay, next song, Guide Dog.
It's that time at the end of the night.
Ooh.
When you're blind and you hold
Got sort of like a
on to its mind.
indie folk singer-songwriter vibe here.
If I could, I would trade you my eyes. 'Cause
Wow.
you should see you with the clearness of mind.
Jesus, that's a lyric.
I want a guide dog.
This is so emotional.
How I describe you.
Oh, this is such a good folk song. The hell?
See for your crowd.
This is incredible.
I'll be there myself. Guide dog.
Oh, this is beautiful, and the pauses as well into the sections.
You would tell me that you don't agree. I am half the man you would be if you were me. I watch.
Oh, I'm half the man that you would be if you were me. There's so much self-doubt and lack of self-worth here.
My love songs don't seem to age well.
Oh,
How long
it's like never being able to find the true love. It's like my love songs don't seem to age well.
I got you till it won't hurt me.
I got you till you won't hurt me.
How I describe you when you're
I'm getting some Jordan Mason vibes as well.
not. See for yourself.
Oh my god.
Find you a place in the crowd. Do you trust me to be your guide dog?
Oh my. Do you trust me to be your guide dog? And it links it back around like at the start where it's like, it's a time at the end of your night where you're blind. It's like, I guess that's like drunk or whatever. And I hold out your and you hold out your hand till it's mine. I'll walk you, guide dog to you. So it's like, want to lead you like down the right path and like help you move safely, be safe. And then if I could trade you my eyes, because you could see you with the clearness of mine, it's like you wish that they could feel the same way about themselves that you did about them. I want to be your guide dog. I want to keep you safe, basically. I want to help you see yourself in a way that I see you. So it's like they're depressed, and then he talks about like, but I'm half the man that you would be if you were me. So it's like, sort of in a way, it's like I'm worse, but I want to make sure you're safe and happy. God, that's a downtrodden song. That's another, like, I'm hesitant to give it a 10, but it's close to it. Okay, now, onto the outro, Texas Blue, featuring Kevin Abstract. I've never heard anything from Kevin Abstract, so I'm interested here. Let's have a listen. Piano. It's interesting how, like, robotically it's played. Okay, this is giving Black Country New Road vibes. Oh, and the sustain pedal.
Waking up next to you. Am I complex to you? Scratches on your back.
There's sort of a finality about this arpeggio.
Sun peeking through.
Love the vocal timbre of Kevin Abstract. Oh, there's like harmonies peeking in.
You like movies more than I do.
Oh, those harmonies. All peeking through. It's like a crescendo. You hear everything building up into the next section. It's interesting how well it uses like the blossom into like a something and then cut it off quickly back into the low-key sort of feeling. An acoustic guitar. Oh, a chord change. You can hear his voice in the background doing some sort of run. Oh, you can hear that twanginess, biting. It's different harmonies. It's so layered. It's layered, but not too maximalist. It's so good. Oh, that's a good transition. You can see because I felt it, I knew it. There's sort of like an old feel about how the vocals are processed here, like sort of 60s recording with like the chorus or phasing. There's such a lush instrumentation. I think Kevin Abstract's like ad-libs there work perfectly to contrast Quadeca's voice.
Changing direction, you painting the sky with your head. Why
I was getting some Injury Reserve vibes there.
colder than Texas blue.
Colder than Texas blue.
Green was an indica. We burned it all up. Ash on the sheets. You're making me so.
Oh my gosh, all these different layers peeking through. I keep saying peeking through because it's always like, whoop, and it's like a little thing you can latch onto. You know, echoing across the stereo field. It's such a good ballad. Just like, you can feel those like delay tails and the percussion hits where it like goes and quickly pitches itself up by the tail. And you can hear that guitar strumming back coming in. I love how the guitars are processed so that just in the stereo field and just the twangs. Add some texture to this. Oh, the chord changes are so good. It's satisfying. This is such a good outro. Oh, and then that waking up next to you, vocal peeking in and like the gaps. It's like a perfectly formed sort of temporal landscape. And then those harmonies coming in. Wow. This is a feat. Oh my god. Wow. I like how only parts of the song is fading away now and we're left with just the percussion. Makes it so much more interesting than just fading it all out. You can hear those harmonies coming back through. Wow. And that was Scrapyard by Quadeca, and I must say, I am thoroughly impressed. I already liked a lot of the things I heard before, but I think altogether it makes a very cohesive project, and the only gripes I have with it are really minor, or maybe just like not having, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but maybe not having Guess Who on the track list. And otherwise, it's got a really cool, like, sort of folky atmosphere with experimental, like, different genre fusions that you wouldn't even think of. And it's hard to categorize like what sound this project is because it mostly goes for that feeling and the sort of under the same topic but expressing it in different ways. And Texas Blue is such like a great outro. I think it like sums up the project so well. And it's like talking about like all the stresses and the coldness of the relationship. Like, as I said, colder than Texas Blue, that's at least my sort of interpretation. And then we've got, and it's talking about like the stresses, colder than Texas Blue, not just like trying to move on. It's like, but you're realizing the coldness, plus and minus. I feel like that's like, plus and minus you give and take away. And it's just like, at least with a thing like watching you dancing up there, to me it just seems like you're putting them on a high horse. And it's like, it's okay in the end. Even if I just want to see you happy at the end. Wow. Jeez, that's such a good listen. But yeah, I'm feeling like an 84 on a first listen. That could change, but I'm feeling a nice, strong 84. And wow, that's such an amazing project. I'm generally loved it so much. Quadeca's on something else recently. I don't know how you get from voice memos to this, but you do. Apparently you do. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, feel free to like, subscribe, blah, 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 yada, yada. YouTube things. Anyway, as I said before, I also release music if you want to hear a little snippet of it. That was from my last project, and now something new from my new project for the outro. Bye!